This creature completely lacks any organs of sight. There is not even a hint of eyeballs on its elongated, mirror-smooth head. But this specific anatomical feature is exactly what makes it an absolute, evolutionarily perfect hunter. The monster navigates through space using a highly complex, ultimate system of biomechanical receptors embedded throughout its carapace. It detects the faintest, barely noticeable vibrations in the air, registers sound waves at frequencies far beyond human hearing, tracks the slightest thermal radiation of the surrounding environment, and possesses a phenomenal electromagnetic sense. It can remotely perceive the weak electrical impulses of your own nervous system. Attempting to hide behind a thick steel wall or dissolve into pitch-black darkness is entirely useless. The beast literally reads from a distance how your terrified heart beats, how your carotid arteries pulse, and how the synapses in your brain fire, giving away your exact location every single second. If one looks closely at the anterior section of its matte, translucent cranial dome, the terrifying contours of humanoid eye sockets and bone structures clearly loom beneath the chitinous layer. The anatomy of this creature was deliberately over-engineered by nature to trigger a deep, paralyzing subconscious horror at the level of primal genetic memory. This visual distortion causes a human to freeze under the intense gaze of a creature that physically has no eyes, yet sees your every fleeting movement inside out. Furthermore, this dome protects an elongated brain distributed along the entire length of the head, making its structure ultra-resistant to concussions, physical impacts, and pressure drops. The primary maw conceals a second, even more lethal and sophisticated instrument of death, an extendable pharyngeal jaw. This is no mere secondary organ for consuming food, but a fully functional weapon of colossal piercing power. Extremely powerful muscular bands and hydraulic ligaments launch the inner teeth forward with the speed and kinetic energy of a heavy piston. This terrifying strike is comparable to a point-blank shot from a large-caliber firearm. It takes only a fraction of a second for the inner jaw to easily shatter the strongest bones of a human skull, punch through reinforced titanium plates of maximum protection spacesuits, or pierce clean through the light armor plating of military vehicles, leaving the prey not a single chance for survival or resistance. It is capable of extending a significant distance, turning any attempt to dodge into a fatal mistake. The development and growth process of this organism completely ignores the familiar laws of terrestrial biology and the fundamental law of conservation of mass. Entering the host's body as a tiny parasitic embryo, it grows into a massive, 2-meter-tall perfect predator in just a few hours. It does not need to consume colossal volumes of protein or food to rapidly gain this impressive weight. As a silicon-based life form, the monster possesses a unique, aggressive metabolism capable of restructuring atoms and molecules directly from the environment. It literally synthesizes the tissues of its new body on the fly, absorbing silicon, pure carbon, heavy metals, and minerals from the air, industrial dust, metal wall plating, technical cables, and toxic gases. The rate of its cellular division is developed to such a fantastic degree that the dense chitinous exoskeleton hardens during movement, turning into impenetrable dark armor right before the eyes of the survivors. This species completely lacks a fixed, strictly unchangeable genetic form. It is driven by what is known as the ultimate DNA adaptation reflex. During the embryonic development stage, the parasite does not merely feed off the host's resources. It completely scans, decodes, and bioengineers the best evolutionary, physiological, and defensive traits of the infected organism. From a human, it takes perfect bipedalism, upper limb dexterity, the ability to manipulate complex objects, and tactical cunning. From a fast quadrupedal animal, it adopts a rapid, flexible biomechanics that allows it to develop insane speeds, silently leap across vast distances, and move along any vertical surfaces or ceilings at any angle. Upon contact with more massive, aggressive cosmic species, The creature instantly inherits their colossal physical strength, gigantic dimensions, additional exoskeleton protection elements, and external combat organs. They perfectly understand the basic principles of human technology. They are capable of intentionally damaging main power cables to plunge an entire base into darkness, locking automated doors to isolate terrified survivors from one another, and setting up coordinated ambushes from multiple sides simultaneously, masterfully using distracting maneuvers and false noises. They study your behavioral tactics much faster than you can realize and adapt to them. While hiding or moving through ventilation pipes, this creature is capable of generating a specific low-frequency infrasound with its body. These vibrations are not perceived directly by human hearing, but are instantly picked up by the vestibular apparatus and the cerebral cortex at a deep subconscious level. These sub-vibrations trigger an unprovoked, paralyzing horror, sudden bouts of nausea, spatial disorientation, cold sweats, and severe visual hallucinations in any warm-blooded organism. A person begins to see fleeting, terrifying shadows where there are none, loses the ability to rationally assess the situation, confuses the direction of sounds, and sinks into a state of deep, exhausting psychosis. The monster methodically and purposefully breaks the mind of its potential prey, completely destroying its will to resist long before delivering its final strike from the dark. The social structure of their colony is incredibly plastic, autonomous, and completely protected from total eradication by external forces. At the apex of the hierarchy always stands a supreme egg-laying specimen that telepathically and hormonally controls the entire hive. However, if this biological leader perishes, the unique biology of the species immediately triggers an emergency population salvage protocol. An ordinary rank-and-file warrior or drone in conditions of complete isolation begins to undergo a harsh, irreversible hormonal overhaul. Its body starts rapidly producing a specific chemical component that radically alters its DNA structure. Within a few days, the specimen mutates, expanding colossally in size. Its skull shape completely restructures, additional gripping limbs grow, new reproductive organs develop, and it transforms into a new head of the hive, ready to continuously reproduce offspring. Destroying their colony by simply eliminating the leader is biologically impossible. The hive will always regenerate itself from any surviving soldier. The internal biology of this monster completely excludes concepts like conventional pain shock, panic from wounds, or physical exhaustion. Its nervous system is designed around a rigid principle of absolutely ignoring any damage for the sake of fulfilling the ultimate task of neutralizing a threat or capturing a host. Even if the creature receives critical damage from large-caliber weaponry, loses limbs, bleeds acid, or is torn apart by directed explosions, its muscular structures continue to contract with the same lethal speed, power, and precision. Essential vulnerable organs, such as a localized heart or lungs, whose mechanical destruction would instantly paralyze or kill a normal animal, are entirely absent from its body. Every cell of its flesh possesses phenomenal autonomy. It is impossible to force the monster to retreat or surrender by causing it severe physical pain. Its body simply lacks receptors capable of registering suffering. There are only signals for action. The creature's exoskeleton is a perfect natural spacesuit, far surpassing any human engineering developments. The monster has absolutely no need for lungs. It is completely independent of atmospheric pressure, humidity, or the composition of the surrounding air. It is capable of spending hours or even days in the open, freezing void of space, painlessly withstanding absolute zero, the colossal gravitational pressure of gas giants, or a complete, desiccating vacuum. The dense silicon carapace securely holds the organism's internal pressure and entirely blocks lethal cosmic radiation, harsh gamma rays, and solar flares.